Hello and welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series Season 2. This is a Division A matchup between Illusion Esports on the blue side and the Black Hand on the red side. I am Bludgeon coming to you with Milk Ducks. Milk Ducks, welcome back to NGS.
It's good to be back, man. What's going on?
Well, a lot of things are going on here. We're going to be seeing Illusion again. I believe we casted this team against Reality a little while ago. This time they're taking on the Black Hand. Both these teams around the middle to the lower side of the standings currently in Division A. We've got the Black Hand slightly ahead in 7th place with 7 points to their name. So 2 match victories, which means a 2-0. 1 draw, which is a 1-1, and 1 loss, obviously an 0-2. And we have Illusion Esports down in 10th place, sitting on 4 points at the moment with one match win, 1 draw, and 2 losses. So both of these teams could really use some points to climb up the standings here. We'll see what ends up happening. So we've got our first map, which is Sky Temple. That was selected by the Black Hand. The map bans were Tomb of the Spider Queen banned by the Black Hand, and Brax's Holdout banned by Illusion. So Sky Temple, we've got a couple of bans as far as the heroes go so far. What do you think?
Okay, so the Tassadar one's kind of hard to figure out. So you want to ban Tassadar. In lower leagues, you see Tassadar banned whenever you intend to pick a stealth hero. But you don't really see that so much in Division A, right? In Division A, you would see him banned if, like, you don't want him supporting, like, well, let's say the Vala. It seems weird that they would ban him out when they intended to take Vala first pick. It could also mean that they're thinking about drafting a team that's really all in on single targets, which means you would be going, like, Dahaka, any kind of big stun off of the Dahaka tongue. Like, so basically, Tassadar is good. He's a good single target healer. You know, you would get like him and like, let's say a Morales together. You'd have a very hard time picking anyone specific off. So my guess is that means that Illusion's going for kind of a pick-off comp and they don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, that's interesting. We obviously have seen Tassadar used well with the Vala, so it's a good point you're raising. And first pick Muradin on the other side. So currently the tank pool a little bit squeezed with the ETC banned out and Muradin first picked. That's probably the first time I've seen a Muradin picked up this early in the draft in some time.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to think of the first pick Muradin. Certainly there are still strong pick, like, so for example, I would say Garrosh, a much stronger pick, I would say all around than Muradin. A Nubarak gonna fit in a lot better than I don't dislike the Muradin pick. I just, as a first pick, I'm struggling to kind of see where they're going with it. Rhaegar Muradin first on Sky Temple is a little bit weird.
It could be a matter of just simply, it might be a comfort pick for the Black Hand. It could be that they're just, their tank player is really comfortable with Muradin. We'll see if that ends up being the case. I mean, Muradin does have that really nice kind of self-sustain and escape capability, so he's someone who can kind of hang around one of those temples for a while without necessarily needing help or having to go back, potentially kind of out-attritioning the other person on that point. We'll see if that's what they're doing here. A Lucio ban, that's interesting. So I guess they're afraid of that double support combo Stukov-Lucio.
That's certainly a possibility. I mean, I don't doubt that at all. I think Lucio specifically is very good with Garrosh. Garrosh has no way to like get in on people to begin with, so he benefits greatly from having the movement speed. Just also on top of just being a really strong double support with Stukov.
Right. Speaking of double support, we see the Brightwing locked in for the Black Hand. We have really been seeing a lot of double support these days. Can you speak to why that is?
Yeah, double support is much stronger right now. So you used to see a lot of double warrior comps. The reason you don't really see that anymore is like, well, for example, Malthael is a thing, right? Malthael was banned out, but he's always sort of looming over everything. Double warrior comps kind of went away when Malthael came out. Double support comps, especially now that you have so many supports who are really efficient healers, like I would say Stukov, Brightwing, Lucio, obviously, they're all extremely mana efficient healers. They all heal big AoE. They all have big, massive AoE healing, it's very hard to actually affect any kind of real damage onto their...
Okay, now the Cassia pickup, that is interesting to me. Is there any obvious synergy or counter pick strategy going on here that you can tell?
The light abandons no man.
Like, are they trying to build a... They don't really have a blind comp at this point.
No, they don't have a blind comp, and nobody on their team, in my opinion, is specifically sort of weak to the Cassia, right? Like, you pick a Cassia when they don't have a lot of escapes. Like, they might be fragile with weak escapes. Vala doesn't fall into that category. Garrosh, if you go in deep, like against a Garrosh, she'll just throw you, and Cassia has no way to get out. Now the cool thing is that you would take her anytime that you want. Basically, you think of her as like the anti-AA, the anti-auto attack kind of assassin. So Vala doesn't really, she's not all auto attack damage. She's primarily an auto attack damage hero, but she's also a pretty strong hybrid hero. I would say the same thing for Falstad. Neither of them are auto attack heroes necessarily. They're both hybrid heroes. So her trait isn't going to play off as well as I think that she wants it to here.
Who would be an example of a quintessential auto attack hero?
It's about damn.
I mean, you Tracer, Zul'jin, Raynor, you know what I mean? Like anybody who basically has 90% auto attack damage or more.
Okay, so interestingly, we see a Tychus lock in at the bottom. So a couple of hero picks that I'm not necessarily used to seeing in some matches, so that's going to make things pretty interesting. Where do you see the Tychus fitting into that team comp?
I don't. I want to be really honest with you. I don't see where Black Hand's kind of going with this. Tychus is another one of those heroes. He has to... So Tychus and Cassia both play at not short range, but not long range. It's a very, like... It's on the short range of medium, okay? They have to play in that range to do their damage. Like, Cassia can poke if she goes with a Q build, but her auto attack damage, and I would argue like everything that Tychus does is in that short to medium range. And that exact range is exactly where Garrosh wants you to be. That's exactly where he wants you to be.
Yeah, no kidding.
And
not too close, not too far.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit, I mean, I want to be proven wrong. I really do. Like, I like when I see comps like this and like, I don't really understand where they're going with it, but then when you see it in action, it all plays out, you know what I mean, according to what they had planned. But when I look over at Illusion, it just looks like a pretty solid team comp all around. You've got Falstad as your global. He's also a good wave clear hero. Vala's a good wave clear hero. They got double support to keep Vala up. I mean, it's basically a Vala hyper carry. And they have Garrosh there just to capitalize on any big mistakes. Or just to force mistakes out from the other team.
All right, well, we have loaded into game number 1 of this series on Illusion Esports. We have Kozer on Garrosh, Defender playing Stukov, Medieval on Vala, Exfusor on Falstad, and Uther being played by Unaverted.
And on the red team for the Black Hand, we have Unlucky on Tychus, Dayuni on Muradin, Disco playing Brightwing, Genji playing a Silenced Cassia here, and Kupalin playing Rhaegar.
All right. So the match starts, and we see a lot of people running up towards that top vision spawn. It's always interesting to see how that's going to play out, but Illusion Esports easily takes control of that to start this match off.
So, big thing I noticed as far as the talents right away, Muradin did not go Third Wind. He's going for Perfect Storm. What that does is gives you a stacking damage bonus on his Q, on his stun. And it's not bad. My point is he seems to be going for more of a damage build. My guess is he's going to look to jump in, get like the big Thunderclap damage in on Vala or even Falstad and just blow them up.
Yeah, that is very interesting. So obviously, the later this game goes, the more damage Murden's going to be doing with that. The mana savings don't hurt. So far, some structures already gone down. Illusion has taken down a tower, and they're just about to take down that front gate up top. Unlucky, just kind of standing there, watching, making sure he gets the XP, but not really able to approach in any way. Meanwhile, down bottom, Black Hand similarly has taken out that turret. They're a little bit behind on the structures, but they're about to get that second turret now. X-Fusor playing a similar role down there, as the temple will activate mid and top in 5 seconds.
So as far as the pushing lanes go, 100% Illusion has the advantage as far as what they decided to push. You always want to push the top lane on Sky Temple, because as you can see, like the temple in the top lane here is now firing immediately onto the keep. Whereas it would have normally had to go through the walls. But say they got a lot of push on bottom, but that's not going to pay off until the second shrine, when it will actually fire at the bottom keep, or bottom 4, excuse me.
Right, so doing it this way, even though, you know, you'd think symmetrically doesn't make much difference, but in this way, they're actually going to be able to get a fort down sooner, getting that little XP bump right away.
As you can see,
pressure advantage.
Yeah, both teams are basically, they're running out of shots here, whereas, so, excuse me, Illusion has a fort down and is already taking down the wall in the middle, whereas Black Hand just barely was able to get some damage on the mid fort. So it makes a big difference, and you can look at the XP, you can see that Illusion is about a half level ahead, just because of the way that they decided to do their lane setup early.
Definitely interesting. In the meantime, we saw first blood happen there, as Garrosh just lobbed our friend Tychus into the middle of his team and got a nice kill there. It looks like actually there was a 1-for-1 there. I missed the other kill. Did you happen to see that one?
I did not. But it looked like, yeah, Tychus went down, and
Valor
Uther also went.
Sorry, no. Uther, yeah. Alright, everybody now gathering around this bottom mercenary camp. The camp has been killed. No one yet captured it. Medieval snags it there. So an aggressive mercenary capture down at the bottom lane. That makes for a lot of mercenaries suddenly all the way down there. Setting up nicely for bottom temple, which will be coming up next.
So as you can see now, Illusion is now choosing to push the bottom fort. And the reason you want to do that, again, is because the next shrine will be bottom. And if they can take the middle walls, if they can take the walls and the towers down, that will guarantee that they're going to be able to get a fort down if they also take the shrine. Muradin went down. Looks like Black Hand is on the run. 4 members of Illusion Esports in the bottom lane. They are looking to get some structural advantage here before the next shrine starts.
Yeah, if they can at least get this mana well down, that will give them a really nice sustain advantage going into this bottom temple fight. We saw once again Kozer on that Garrosh just putting an end to somebody on the other team. So even though it was Muradin, who was obviously a tanky guy, it just wasn't enough, and they were able to take him down. Temples will be activating in just about 8 seconds here now. We see that Vala is going for Hungering Arrow build. Muradin's got 9 stacks on the hammer so far. We'll see how high he can get it. The quest says it stacks up to 65,000. We'll see if he can get it up that high.
So, Legend, can you tell me why Vala's going Hungering Arrow build?
You know, I'm not really sure, but why don't you tell me?
Cassia. So the reason they're going basically for the full Q poke build is because they know they can't do an auto attack build against Cassia.
Right. And what's the advantage of the Hungering Arrow versus, let's say, multi-shot?
Well, I wouldn't say there's necessarily... It's more of a playstyle difference than it is... I would say, I would absolutely go multi-shot if I had an Oriole. They don't have an Oriole. I think you technically get more... You certainly get more single target out with the Q build. So what you're seeing is every time he hits now with Puncturing Arrow, he gets more damage on Puncturing Arrow, and once he gets 100 bonus damage, he gets an additional 75, and it also bounces 1 additional time. So you certainly get much more single target damage.
Well, the Black Hand tried to get a bit of a fight going down in the bottom lane there, but to no avail. We see some people clustering around this boss. Illusion perhaps wanting to get something done there, but I don't think it's the right time, and they decide to just back off and grab that siege camp. Exfusor, meanwhile, top lane, taking care of that minion wave as it's pushing into his fort. We see a fair amount of damage has gone down there already. Level 10, though, has been picked up by Illusion, so far a 1-level lead for Illusion. They're up in structures, up in kills. Do you see the momentum staying this way? Is this something that can be turned around by the Black Hand?
I definitely think it is. I do want to say that I want to see Illusion being much more aggressive with their level 10 advantage. I want to see them being much more aggressive. Now that Black Hand has hit 10, things are going to get a little scary.
Falstad 2 down to the bottom. Team fight now happening. Genji, I'm going to call him, just got stunned up, but he gets out there no problem. Health bar is fairly high all around. Looks like both teams are just going to disengage. However, while all this is happening, we see 2 blue mercenary camps making their way towards that keep wall down bottom, forcing the Black Hand to go and deal with that. And that gives Illusion some time to kind of just get some more mercenary camps.
Both teams have their warriors kind of anchored around the boss to make sure there's not going to be any kind of weird plays, which I think is very smart. So it does. Merlin's build's a little weird. I mean, I don't mind the Perfect Storm pickup. I thought maybe he was going for more of like a jump in, blow people up build, and I thought that might actually pay off for him since Uther went Divine Storm instead of the shield. But it does look like he's kind of going standard tank build now. Just the beginning talent was a little off meta.
All right, well, the temples are coming back up now. We've got mid and bottom. Blue team Illusion has already captured that top one, and Black Hand already controlling the bottom one, so fairly even as it stands right now. But a lot of people starting to gather around that mid, unaverted in the middle of the enemy team, getting blinded, getting stunned, getting polymorphed. Nice gust to push that team away to save Uther from what was about to be a killing there. However, Illusion does maintain control of that middle temple, and in the meantime, looks like the Black Hand actually relinquished control of the bottom. Now heading back down to get that back.
Correct, yeah, Brightwing had to Z up to help with that fight, knowing that Tychus was not going to be there. He's defending top. So it would have been a 3v5 on the objective. It's unfortunate that Tychus was top. I mean, I know he needed to be, but my point is that because he's top, you know that... hold up. There's like a fight's kind of breaking out. Illusion definitely wants a fight here.
Yeah, Defender had to burn his heroic just to push that Tychus away as he got flanked a little bit. Defender now getting very low on that Stukov, getting isolated out. Unlucky gets that kill in the back. Meanwhile, though, Falstad kills Muradin and Brightwing, but the health bars on Illusion are dropping very low, and looks like Black Hand is going to try to clean this up. Kozer getting extremely low. He goes down. Uther goes down. And just like that, only Vala left alive on the side of Illusion.
All right, so that's definitely, I would say, a positioning error on Illusion's part. Like you saw, the Stukov really getting picked on up top and didn't have a lot of peel. That's kind of the problem when you solo tank Garrosh to begin with. He doesn't have a lot of peel. He's a pick-off tank, not a peel tank.
Yeah, definitely. Stukov really got kind of caught out there, just hanging behind his team a little bit in that corridor. Tychus managing to kind of catch him, and Stukov used his heroic to try to get away, and that wasn't enough. And while the team was split there, they just kind of got manhandled. A boss now picked up by the Black Hand, heading now towards that bottom keep. We'll see how much damage that can get done and what the Black Hand can do with the time that they're now afforded by this.
Right. The boss isn't going to do much. Basically a boss, it isn't so much the damage that the boss does, it's what the boss allows you to do with the time that it's buying you. It's basically screening for you to take control of the map.
Right, forcing Illusion to go down and deal with it. It isn't difficult for them to deal with it, but it forces them to be in one place. And we see that the Black Hand has taken advantage of that, gone across the map, picked up whatever mercenary camps they can. And we'll see where they go from here. They unfortunately did not grab that bottom left one, so that's picked up by Illusion. Both teams now just, again, fairly even footing. Looks like there's a potential bush gank. Not really. Kozer hanging around by the boss, trying to catch somebody. Disco and company were hanging out in another bush trying to catch somebody, but nobody did any face checks, unfortunately for us.
It doesn't look like they're going to collapse on the Faustad here and maybe potentially try to bait out the Gust.
Kozer walking into the couple of the enemy team. He's got his team there backing him up. No engagement just yet. Defender just recently finished that Vigor's reuptake talent, so his burst healing is going to be a lot better. Not really a lot of action in this game so far. It's 10 kills, but it just feels like the teams have kind of been circling around each other, past each other, trying to get an advantage in the objective game, and so far no one coming out too far ahead either way.
Yeah, both teams are playing okay. They're playing smart. Right now, both teams are just trying to hit 16, and whoever gets 16 going into this objective is going to have a really sizable advantage. It does look like Illusion's going to get it first, but not by a whole lot.
Yeah, that's right. Brightwing currently off by herself. Of course, we know she can come in at any point. Illusion getting first control of that temple, getting a few shots off right now, shooting at the enemy keep structures. So if they can keep that up, they might get some nice advantages out of it. 16 now picked up by both teams. And, ooh, just like that, Muradin once again getting wrecked. Interestingly, that's probably the second time, maybe even the third time now, we've seen Muradin just picked off and ruined before the rest of his team can even help out at all.
Yeah, he wasn't even able to pop. Avatar there. I assume that was the silence. I didn't catch it. On from my perspective, but I assume it was the silence that locked him down from Stukov.
Alright, unaverted, fairly far forward on that Uther, getting a nice Divine Storm down onto the Tychus, who gets popped backwards into the team and murdered very quickly. Exfusor flies in and Gus Genji straight back into his team. Rain of Vengeance stuns him up. Lots of damage, lots of CC. That's another kill going over to Illusion. 5 versus 2 advantage on the field right now. 1 level and a little bit up. Looks like they're heading down towards this bottom keep.
Yeah, I definitely think they can take a keep. Rushing core would be a mistake, but they can definitely take a keep here. Pretty much untested, or uncontested. Little difficult without the minion wave with them, unfortunately. So maybe they are going to have to back out.
Yeah, they do not get the keep. They do get the front wall of it. Obviously, looks like they're going to try and steal this siege camp while they're here. Dayuni deciding to try to do something about it, but he just might get himself in a lot of trouble. Ancestral healing does happen, but his health is still extremely low. Siege Giant's even shooting at him now. I don't know if he's going to be able to get out of this one. Dwarf toss. Yeah. Oh, boy. Wow, Dayuni, I can't believe he got out of that, but Disco might even pay for his crimes. Looks like actually everyone is going to get out of that alive. Kind of surprising there. Tychus does end up popping his heroic. Muradin does as well. And Rhaegar also was forced to use the ancestral healing there.
Right. I think if I'm the Black Hand right now, I'm just, man, kicking myself for that. First of all, if he were anyone other than Muradin with an ancestral healing backup, yeah, he would have been toast. So the thing you got to think about now is that we're going into an objective when nobody on Black Hand has their ultimate except for Cassia. Everything had to be blown there just to save Muradin. So I think that Illusion knows that, and they're just going to go ahead and take this boss.
And they're taking it down extremely quickly, already down to 50% health. That thing is going to be gone fast. Looks like Black Hand is coming in to try to do something. Kozer screening for his team, tossing people away. Stukov, really nice zoning heroic there on top of the Mighty Gus. So they really made sure they were going to get that boss.
Yeah, it's both teams have some pretty good zoning ultimates. Like, if they would have been able to get, like, Muradin jumping in on the point, followed by a Brightwing Emerald Wind, like, maybe they could have saved that, but a silence would have stopped them. I don't think it was worth it even to contest them. I would have just got to the shrines, probably.
All right, well, we saw once again another big engagement, no one going down. We saw more heroics being used. The Divine Storm was used. The Cassia's heroic was used. Muradin's ultimate was used once again. The boss, however, was picked up on the side of Illusion, and it is now beating down that bottom keep, which is going to fall. So nicely done there. And as that's happening, we've got Illusion picking up both temples. The bulk of their team on the bottom, the Falstad flying up top to grab that one.
Yep, Falstad is going to be able to take down the top keep as well, I believe, with the amount of ammo that he has left.
So
Muradin could sneak out right from underneath him.
Really big swing in the game here for Illusion. They've got just, there we go, all 3 keeps down. Only the core left now on the side of the Black Hand. Level 20 also picked up here for Illusion. So what in the world can the Black Hand do to get back from this?
I'm actually pretty sure the Shrine kills it. Yeah,
I mean,
the Shrine
this
kills
core, 4%.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's toast.
Is it still the 4 bullets
What?
left?
Hey,
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. GG.
All right. Well, you know what? It is actually kind of fun to see those lasers get to have the win. They do so much work in this thing, and they rarely get the credit they deserve. So congratulations, Temple Lasers, for taking down the Black Hands core. So that is game number 1, going over to Illusion Esports. Let's talk a little bit about those team comps. At the beginning of this match, you told me you weren't really sure what the Black Hand was up to with that draft. Watching the game, did you get any better idea?
Nope, still pretty confused. I still don't, none of the picks make a lot of sense to me, to be honest with you. Double support on both sides is neat to see. So you'll see, when you have double support, you see, like, you know, fewer deaths in a game, right? Like, 8 to 5's not a lot of kills when you have a 17-minute game. But the kills that you get are more decisive. So kills mean more, basically. And so when you've got like Murden went down 4 times, man. Basically, like, his defenses are all based on being able to use his abilities. And when you have Stukov able to just lock down whatever area he's in, he has a really hard time actually self-sustaining. So that was big. It was a big advantage for Illusion.
All right, well, we're going to set up for game number 2. We'll turn off the stream and bring it right back in just a moment. Do not touch that dial. We'll be right back with the Nexus Gaming Series, Illusion versus the Black Hand.